The United States has frequently identified China as a national security risk. However, countries such as Singapore have presented a different view, suggesting that China does not pose a security threat, but rather presents a challenge to the United States' dominance. China advocates for a world with multiple power centers, encouraging nations to make sovereign decisions. The United States, concerned about the potential loss of its dominant position, is wrestling with these changing dynamics. Despite these apprehensions, there is a growing and relentless movement towards establishing a world with multiple centers of power. This raises an important question. Can the United States maintain its position of global leadership in this changing international landscape? Welcome back of another interesting chapter of our channel. Inventive Insights makes you discover the unfolding narrative of China's inventive ventures and expanding impact across various global regions. If you're exploring our channel for the first time and have an interest in the dynamic progression of China's evolution and increasing cloud our content will surely captivate you. Please subscribe, like, and comment. In this video, we delve into the reasons why countries are increasingly backing China's vision of a multipolar world, and we'll discuss the benefits of such a world structure. Stay with us until the end of the video to find out whether the United States has the ability to halt this emerging global trend. Let's get to it. In the ever-evolving landscape of global politics, the concept of a multipolar world has gained increasing prominence. Unlike the traditional scenario dominated by one or two superpowers, a multipolar world signifies the emergence of multiple significant powers exerting influence on the global stage. This paradigm shift is more than a theoretical concept. It's becoming a tangible reality. Historically, global affairs were often dominated by the United States, and to some extent, the Soviet Union during the Cold War era. However, recent times have witnessed the emergence of diverse regional powers contributing to a more balanced distribution of influence. This shift has introduced new layers of diplomatic complexity as nations navigate a landscape where power is more dispersed than concentrated. Middle powers positioned between larger, dominant nations and smaller, less influential states play a pivotal role in this transition. Countries like Turkey, Brazil, South Korea, and Australia exert influence beyond their immediate geographical boundaries, reshaping traditional power dynamics. Turkey, straddling Europe and Asia, has become a key player in regional affairs. Brazil asserts its presence in South American and global arenas, with its economic prowess and vast natural resources. South Korea's technological advancements and Australia's resource-rich economy further contribute to the diversification of global power dynamics. China has been particularly transformative, propelling the world towards multipolarity. Under President Xi Jinping, China has pursued a vision for a more inclusive global order. Economic sense, marked by rapid industrialization and expansive trade, has positioned it as a formidable global power. Initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative exemplify China's global ambitions, aiming to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa through infrastructure projects. The BRI has its proponents and critics. It undeniably signals China's growing influence. Technological advancements in areas like artificial intelligence, 5G technology, and space exploration have further cemented China's position in the global order. As technology becomes a crucial determinant of geopolitical influence, China's prowess in these domains strengthens its role in the multipolar landscape. China's diplomatic efforts under Xi Jinping also reflect its commitment to a multipolar world. The country engages in diplomatic initiatives, forging regional partnerships and alliances through platforms like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and China promotes a more multipolar and inclusive world order. Additionally, China's use of soft power, such as promoting its culture and language through Confucius Institutes, enhances its global standing. However, the path towards a multipolar world is not without challenges. As power becomes more dispersed, geopolitical tensions may intensify. Competition for influence and resources could lead to conflicts and rivalries among major powers. Skillful diplomacy and effective international cooperation are essential to address shared challenges like climate change, global health crises, and economic disparities. The concept of a multipolar world, with its decentralization of power, has sparked diverse perspectives among nations. While some champion a more inclusive and collaborative international order, others express reservations, particularly those whose established power is being challenged. The United States, for example, finds its long-held status as a global hegemon contested by the notion of a multipolar world. historically accustomed to a unipolar world where its influence was predominant, the US. Perceives the shift towards multipolarity, with apprehension fearing the loss of its global dominance. One key concern for the US in a multipolar world is the intensification of economic competition. As emerging powers strengthen their economies and global influence, the US faces increased competition for resources, markets, and geopolitical leverage. This reshaping of trade dynamics and the potential erosion of traditional economic advantages prompt concerns about maintaining economic supremacy. The redistribution of global power in a multipolar world can also lead to geopolitical strains and a reevaluation of military balances. Accustomed to being the primary military force globally, the US finds its dominance challenged by other nations. This potential shift in power dynamics raises questions about security and the US's ability to maintain its strategic interests in various regions. The transition to a multipolar world necessitates a reevaluation of global governance structure. Existing institutions, largely shaped by the dynamics of unipolar-bipolar era, may need to adapt to accommodate a more diverse array of voices and interests. Reforming institutions, like the United Nations and the International Monetary Fund, becomes crucial for fostering a sense of inclusivity and legitimacy. In a multipolar world, the coexistence of various significant powers with distinct interests and perspectives can lead to a more balanced and inclusive global decision-making process. The diversity inherent in multiple power centers allows for incorporating different voices and viewpoints, enriching the discourse on crucial international issues. This inherent advantage of a multipolar world lies in its potential to act as a check on the unilateral imposition of will by any single power. Such a characteristic acts as a deterrent to potential conflicts, fostering a more stable international system. With multiple power centers, no single entity possesses unchecked dominance, which mitigates the risk of coercive actions that could escalate into conflicts. The existence of these checks and balances encourages diplomatic resolutions and collaborative problem solving, reducing tensions and promoting global harmony. This dynamic was evident in the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas, where multiple global actors play roles in de-escalating the situation. The competitive dynamics unleashed by multiple power centers contribute to a climate of continuous innovation and progress in fields ranging from technology to trade and diplomacy. Different powers strive to outshine each other, propelling advancements that benefit not only individual nations, but the global community. This spirit of competition catalyzes creativity and pushes the boundaries of what is achievable, ultimately driving societal and technological progress on a global scale. A multipolar world also brings about a shift in power distribution, fostering a more effective and representative global governance system. As power is dispersed among various actors, the resulting global institutions and agreements are more likely to reflect the diverse interests and needs of a broad spectrum of nations. This can lead to creating more legitimate, inclusive, and efficient mechanisms for addressing shared challenges, thus enhancing the overall effectiveness of global governance. The experience of a multipolar world is evident in its ability to withstand shocks and disruptions to the international system. In a unipolar or bipolar world, a significant event or development could have profound and far-reaching consequences. However, in a multipolar context, the impact of such occurrences is more evenly distributed among the various power centers. This even distribution of influence acts as a buffer, preventing the undue concentration of power and ensuring that the consequences of global shocks are more manageable. The result is a more stable and adaptable global environment, capable of weathering unforeseen challenges. Economic interdependence in a multipolar world can promote stability and cooperation, and crucially shield poor nations from exploitation by their wealthier counterparts. This economic interconnectedness creates a platform where nations, regardless of their economic standing, can collaborate with many partners, contributing to their growth and development. In a multipolar economic landscape, the interdependence of nations acts as a protective shield for poor nations. The reliance on each other's markets, resources, and expertise creates a more symbiotic relationship, reducing the likelihood of exploitation by wealthier nations. This interconnectedness fosters a sense of mutual benefit, encouraging collaboration rather than dominance. As a result, poor nations can engage with diverse partners, fostering economic growth without falling prey to exploitive practices. The economic interdependence inherent to a multipolar world opens doors for collaboration and growth for nations across the economic spectrum. Poor nations can diversify their economic partnerships instead of being confined to bilateral relationships with a single dominant power. This diversification allows them to tap into various markets, access different technologies, and benefit from a broader range of expertise. Singapore's assertion that China's aim is not to present a direct threat to the United States, but rather to contribute to creating a world with distributed power reflects a nuanced understanding of global dynamics. From this perspective, China's objective aligns with the broader mission of establishing a multipolar world, where power is not concentrated in the hands of a few. The notion of a multipolar world resonates with the idea of distributed power, where no single nation holds unbridled influence. This vision promotes collaboration, inclusivity, and a balance of power among nations, mitigating the risk associated with hegemony. As nations align themselves with this mission, the realization of a multipolar world becomes increasingly plausible. The growing alignment of nations with the idea of a multipolar world underscores a shift in global dynamics. Rather than a unipolar or bipolar structure, the multipolar vision acknowledges the diverse strengths and contributions of various nations. This alignment reflects a collective understanding that a more evenly distributed power structure can lead to a resilient, adaptable world, less prone to conflict stemming from imbalances. However, the transition to a multipolar world is not without its challenges. As nations navigate this new landscape, they must grapple with issues such as how to maintain stability, how to ensure equitable participation in global governance, and how to manage the complexities of interdependence. The traditional models of international relations and diplomacy may need to evolve to address the nuances of a multipolar world, where power is not only distributed among more actors, but is also more dynamic and fluid. In this context, international organizations and treaties may need to be imagined to better reflect the realities of a multipolar world. Institutions like the United Nations, Trade Organization, and various regional bodies may need to adapt their structures and decision-making processes to be more inclusive and representative of the diverse range of powers in the global arena. This could involve restructuring voting systems, enhancing mechanisms for dialogue and negotiation, and developing new platforms for collaboration that transcend traditional geopolitical alliances. The transition also requires a rethinking of economic relationships. In a multipolar world, trade and economic policies need to be more attuned to the realities of interdependence and the varied interests of different nations. This might mean moving away from zero-sum perspectives on trade to approaches that recognize the mutual benefits of economic cooperation and the importance of sustainable development. Furthermore, a multipolar world demands innovative approaches to security and defense. The traditional focus on military might and alliances may give way to more nuanced strategies that emphasize diplomacy, conflict prevention, and multilateral engagement. As the distribution of military power becomes more balanced, nations might find more value in cooperative security arrangements and collective efforts to address transnational threats, such as terrorism, cyber attacks, and climate change-induced disasters. The role of technology and information shaping international relations will also be crucial in a multipolar world. With the rapid advancement of digital technologies, cybersecurity becomes a vital concern, and the control and flow of information can significantly influence public opinion and policy. Organizations will need to find ways to cooperate in governing and securing the digital realm, while also contending with the challenges of misinformation and cyber warfare. Cultural and people-to-people exchanges will gain importance as well. We'll find a multipolar world. Soft power, the ability to influence others through cultural appeal, values, and policies, becomes a key tool in international relations, promoting cultural understanding. And exchange can help build bridges between nations, fostering a global community that respects diversity and encourages collaboration.